Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Peace, peace. What it do, fam? You know what I'm saying? Here, a day after MLK Day, I figure it's a wonderful day to, talk some knowledge, instill camaraderie amongst our people, build our common interests, you know what I'm saying? By, understanding history, understanding our current position, and understanding where we're going. Lately I've been talking about economics, of course, from financial literacy, so we can understand the modern and the current position that we're in. And I've also been talking history, promoting self-identity, and showing how the link between Marrakech, which is Marrakech, and West Africa having trade way before Columbus. And it's becoming recognized day by day. I just watched a video that came and was published 19 hours ago. And shout out to the chief of the Imasi tribe down there now. I told you I'm part of the Imasi tribe, and I watch him very closely. He just did a video explaining how we're connected to the Olmecs and the Mayans. And I'd never met this guy. Before I even studied this guy, I was telling you this because from my own history and from my own matriarch oral stories, how my grandma was telling me where we coming from. You see what I'm saying? And using the clues to see how certain things was lost between her generation, that's her being a baby and growing up with her father, as I showed y'all, her father, which is my great-grandfather, which is they're from Georgia on my matriarch side. And of course, we extend all the way up to North Carolina and to the Mississippi, over to the Mississippi River. We control the east of the Mississippi River. And we broke down into different fractures, like the Caddo tribe, which was known for having tattoos like we still do today. Like, there's no one else they talk about, y'all. Our self-identity is missed, and our ego creates psychosis that selfishly miss the main and pertinent points that we need to commonly bond on instead of separating fractioning from. Shout out to all the Israelites. Again, shout out to the Muslims. Shout out to everybody, all the fractions. Again, it's about knowing and seeing the simple and the simplistic truth of who you are, And I'm pointing at that skin because as much as we want to go into DNA and get confused with genealogy, because we know we're dealing with technology and people who can confuse things with these words, that when they overcomplex things, we can get lost in the sauce. And my point is that if we keep it simple, shout out to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali too, as he was telling us, when you put your ID card in your pocket, your national identity would change. And basically, if I didn't quote that right, because I'm actually trying to interpret what he was really saying, because I'm just figuring out all the context clues to it. What he was saying is that your ID, whether it's the Moorish card or state ID, whatever it is, doesn't really represent you. You represent you. So without that card, you are you either way. See what I'm saying? By actions is what's going to show you who you are. So this is why our people shouldn't fraction themselves off. We should just see this as our history. You see, the Europeans didn't fraction themselves off to the point where it's just like, oh, we're still the Celtics. Oh, we're still only the Scandinavians and the Nordic people that raided all of England and Britain through the 1100s and to the 1500s that changed the policies and stuff. We're still the Franks and the Moravian mob. Man, they don't do that. They united on common matters, and that's what we have to do. And that's what shows our current position in group economics that we need to be practicing. Because our current position is fractured off and divided and conquered because of our differentialities or our diverse mindsets in genealogy and population, even though we're still non-Siri melanated beings. We're under one common foundation, but so diverse. And that's what we need to start seeing. Respect the diversity, but see each other from that common ground, which is a foundation that we can stand on. And that's the fact that, again, we know that the original beings around the world, not just Africa, around the world was dark, is what we're showing and proving. And that's what's coming out. And they're slowly pushing this out now and allowing it to come out, because nobody wants their foot in their mouth and to be looking, guilty. So anyway, hopefully y'all are doing your genealogy research, not blood tests, research, because they can make anybody seem similar, especially if you are of melanated beings with the longest series of DNA, which makes all these plethora of races that we see today. So this is why we should be pushing nationality and our ethnicity. Again, of course, you still got agents and people out there that's trying to suppress the truth, but you got other truth that's showing because it's hidden in Arabic, and a lot of our textbooks was damaged and burnt. So this shows you the same. See, this is how you can find people, by their characteristics. This shows you the same characteristics of people. This is just like we can follow our characteristics, we can follow their characteristics. Just like when they came over here, they was like, oh, they sun worshippers, like the Aztec sun worshippers. The people, the Mississippian mound builders, they were sun worshippers. Why? The Egyptian sun worshippers. You see what I'm saying? See the same characteristics? This is how we know we are the same bandwidth. Our cousins, so I'm not, trust me, I'm not having no cognitive dissonance or no identity crisis when I'm saying, y'all, we need to take our nationality and be called American, not African American. I'm not having no problem with African. I'm just telling you that the problem is politics. You see what I'm saying? And righteous nationality. You see what I'm saying? That's our cousins. We love them. But we are who we are. And they are who they are still. And yes, we had trade, which is proven by the Morocco Treaty of Peace and Friendship between United States and Morocco. And when we understand that Marrakech is a capital, which had nothing to do with the tip of North Africa, because if that was the case, in one of the treaties, they wouldn't ask for Mexican dollars, which we all know Mexico used to be most of America on the west side, the southwest side. New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Texas used to be Mexico, all of that. And remember, they was allowed after they already infringed and encroached on the East Coast where they was traveling from. And remember, they encountered many storms because they didn't know when to come or how to travel at the time. They was just learning how to travel. So this is another thing, how they're pushing the goal back by trying to push the numbers back. Oh, we don't have no proof of boats and rosters because it happened. We started traveling, or the transatlantic slave trade started happening 60 or and then you find out, okay, well, what about later on in the 1700s? Oh, well, it slowed down because they started trying to abolish slavery. But we also have a boat that came right before the Civil War from the Benin people, which we're going to ask them to apologize on the public level so we can make the story more true. And what I'm telling you guys, you have to do your homework, because Benin, again, is a new modern name country. The real area or the real tribe that was so-called in charge of indentured servitude or slaves in Brazil was called the Dahomey tribe. D-A-J-O-H-O-M-E-Y. And if I spelled it wrong, when you type it in, it still should pop up. The Dahomey tribe in Benin, modern day Benin. You'll see that they said they had slaves in Brazil. But when you see how the story goes, you'll see it's chopped off. It's not telling you the beginning, what type of enterprise or business they was running, or what type of slaves and how they got the slaves there. It just says by the time that England and people was raiding already, they just gave title so they can have, because it was an asset to the Englands. as, you know, war tribute. You see what I'm saying? So it could be a peaceful war. Well, hey, we got this we can give you and settle the war. And that was the indentured servitudes that they said they already had in Brazil, which means they was already traveling. You see what I'm saying? And indentured servitude is a whole nother ideology before it was brought in such a brutal manner or violent condition that Caucasians was bringing. Because again, let's be specific, Europeans wasn't all Caucasian, but a lot of them Huguenots to the Protestants and the pagans that they was talking about was dark or mixed people or light skin, or some of them was brunettes and this and that, but they were still under certain concepts that was taught by um, um, over there, African people. You know what I'm saying? So, because the Etruscans are who the ones who even started Rome. But I mean, do your homework. They're trying to hide that the Etruscans was North Africans. Those are the Etruscans. But I mean, let's keep going. My point is that there was a lot of stuff that went on over there that they missed out. And Morocco is a good point to prove that we had trade. Not a point to be arguing saying that y'all Moors or no, we Israelites. Y'all no, because that means both of y'all didn't do your studies. Because if you do and you look up Morocco Empire, you'll see it was an empire. It had nothing to do with religion. It had all the things to do with real life empire. It was the modern and advanced legion at that point, which religion or religion is. And at that time, people could be Muslim or the Jews, Orthodox Jews as they was, and still be part of the empire. This is why you go so-called to. So this is how I'm a trick. This is how y'all are stuck in the trick bag for the people who making this an argument and not seeing a holistic picture. The people in West Africa, via the same people that they're trying to say people are from, like Yoruba in Nigeria, which Nigeria is the first people who let England in to cut through the central interior of Africa to get to the Congo, but less in a way. Again, Nigeria didn't exist at that time. It was just the Yoruba tribe, Igbos, you know, the Shanti, which was more up north near Mali, the Dahomey. Again, you got all of these people. When you realize that there's no way you took all these vast people and was going to war with them and then came over here was going to war with us. It wasn't happening. What happened was, again, we was a whole empire that, without further detailed discrepancies, because that's a whole nother story, collapsed because of integral problems and principles and morals, and was infighting and internal strife. With that being said, it allowed us to be infiltrated. There we go. As they say, the saints come marching in. And this is why I say when people see the history, this was a fear tactic to make you seem like it was done by one race or this was racism. You know, this is classism. They actually had help from Africans. And again, this is not why I'm just trying to separate it so bad, but this is why I'm trying to make us understand and comprehend history so we know where we're going. Because if we play this who's who game or blame the wrong person game, then we never know. So a lot of Africans helped them on that side. Remember, now West Africa culture started to split from East Africa, which started to be different because they're dealing with their own wars, which the Hittites, which is, you know, recording the Egyptian, to later on more mixed races came and tried to bombard their resources and abundance that they had over there in Egypt, down to Ethiopia and Sudan. And remember, for millions of years, for thousands of years, which they call millennias, but we was here for millions, but that's debatable, so-called, right? How, I don't know, because me and the other person that's trying to debate it doesn't have more evidence than me, and me or him wasn't there, and they're going to go back to geologists and archaeologists, which still doesn't actually prove that human beings, the melanated carpet being, wasn't here millions of years ago, especially wasn't here before the world broke apart, which is my bigger picture, that we was already here before the world broke apart, like the Big Bang, and expanded. Wink, wink. And the people was already stuck on the continents they were stuck on, which even gave the urge to travel. Wink, wink. But anyway, via that they was collapsing over there and Africans was helping them, as they say, the Saints come marching in. The Saints or the African armies over there that was using Caucasian representatives or the new Nordic people that was taking over European kingdoms at the time, since Rome has fractured off to east and west, as if you do your homework on how Rome collapsed. They was serving as armies for these people. And some of these dark Africans was castrated as their promise or test of faith to show that they was going to serve for that kingdom or representative, which was usually at that time now, since they ended up in Europe and teaching them knowledge and how to run administration with their kingdom and not just monarchy, which you'll look up in history. They gave their, their full faith and pledge, and some of them was castrated, but again, some of them other people wasn't. A lot of people was. Look this up, and they taught what they called at that time Germans or Yugoslavia. It wasn't Germans at the time. It was like Yugoslavia, what we known as Greece, and all that. Back in the 400s, 500s, which we be thinking of Ptolemy and all of them, which are gaining knowledge from, again, our African brothers that are up there on the East Africa, Pacific, and North Africa, who are across the borders in Europe and far in the vast parts of Europe, almost Russia, are teaching Nordic people in kingdoms that we know as Vikings at that time, administration and how to run a kingdom, and giving them resources and trade. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, that concept allowed them to bond on the old ancient Rome tactics, which they say all roads lead to Rome, and how they had a vast trade system. So it was, simplistic. It was easy to just go back to what, the old tales was and the ancient knowledge was. You see what I'm saying? This is why knowledge was important, because they was able to rebuild a civilization off of that. You see what I'm saying? And Rome was connected to Egypt, which was connected to the pharaohs. And this is how the Moors, who was connected to the pharaohs and ancient languages that spoke ancient languages from Hebrew and Aramaic and all of this, which later was all the knowledge on Aramaic and Hebrew and all of that was translated into Arabic. And if you look up Arabic, which is actually how can I say this? It's kind of like, let's just say simple. I don't know the word, but it's a bad name for that language, because Arabic will make you seem like it's just Arabia, and it comes from, in which Saudi Arabia itself, Saudi Arabia is a bad name because it makes you think that the person Saudi Arabia was the only person and only race that controlled that region and started that region, which Saudi Arabia was taken over later by a man named Saudi Arabia after Ethiopia already done populated the region. Ethiopians, which even go back to the Bible, which is still a history book too, tells you that Ethiopians, Sudan, people of Sudan, Sudanese, the Kemets, the old combatants, crossed the Sea of Reeds. Afro-haired people on the East Africa side. You know what I'm saying? Then later on, these people around the 200s, 300s, during Europe or Rome Dark Ages, while the Council of Nicaea is forming later on in the 300s and making the Bible, which is why Ethiopia has one of the oldest Bible, which is still influenced by Europe, because they was already up there helping them, and they was teaching each other. They was teaching them, but they both was influencing each other on, lifestyles and views and perceptions. You see what I'm saying? So this is where all that philosophy is coming out at, and this is why it's a big spurt of philosophy coming out of Greece. You know what I mean? Even by the 500s, by 530, near Muhammad's birth, it's known that in Turkey, in the Caucasus Mountains, Muslims are helping what we know as Caucasians, and they are Asians in Asia Minor, survive with Kafir. Kafir is Kefir. Look, I ain't got no book. This is all of retained knowledge that I done did. And I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to show you that this is the common knowledge we all should have, because then we'll know how to move. We'll be like, oh, man, he's foolish. Or when we hear a scientist say, or a Caucasian, or any foreigner, or somebody that's talking with hitting intent or malicious intent to try to grab themselves in history or pitch you down, you're just like, see what I'm saying? Because it's too easy now. This is the awakening. This is the apocalypse. This is the revelations, all that, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to conspiracize it. We don't have to, you know what I'm saying, make it taboo. But watch this. The game is, once people see what I'm saying, and you can't refute that, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking in general. Anybody want to refute anything that we can get in detail and pull out books or references or whatever, because that's all we have. And then we can call up people in Russia or the people that speak Yiddish and all this, and then we can start decoding what's going on, because I done did it. Anyway, as that's going on, you're having these mixed races come about, and this is how Arabs are coming about, from the mixing of Ethiopians and Sudan people with other Hittites at the time, or Asians at the time, people in Asian Minor, via also Caucasians who are coming down from the Nordic area. So why we don't have big archaeologists and geologists doing a big discovery on where Caucasians come from and how other foreigners races started, since everybody can tell us where our people come from? Why is it so important to tell us where our people come from? Anyway, of course, like I said, y'all check out the Lucia bones. You know what I'm saying? Lucia bones looking smack like my grandma. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go check out the Mayan people. You know what I'm saying? Which is my ancestors connected to the MAURI tribes, which broke down to the different tribes from the Creek to the Muscogee and all of that. Which, remember, at this time, by the time we are infringed upon by different foreigners in Europe, we are combining forces with the Asians that's on the west side of the Mississippi River that we've been knew already. And this is how you get these, again, more mixed races. Before you get one of the new mixed races that are the outcome of us Asians and dark people, indigenous or autochthon Americans mixing with Europeans. And this is where y'all get that false identity, because the camera wasn't made till the 1800s, like 1850s, out of the 1850s, late 1850s, near 1900s. And you see all these pictures of these newly breeded, quote unquote, outcomes of autochthon Americans that they call Native Americans. See what I'm saying? And now you had that picture stuck in your mind because we're vivid people, which they know, and you think that's the only thing in the original thing. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that they're also pulling out. They're finding out Southeast had a lot of old tools that they're still digging up. That's near old animals, put it like that, like the mammoth, and it's tools that's man-made that they like, hold up, man, this is, you know, evidence of human activity during the megafauna stage, or the time before the ice age, which I'm trying to show y'all we was here before and while the earth was morphing. You feel what I mean? We've been here. This is how we get the flood stories. And it wasn't just from over there. This is how they're isolating knowledge. That is, one people had a flood story, or one thing was going on at one time. Feel what I'm saying? It wasn't happening. And a lot of these artifacts that they're digging up is coming from that Florida area and Georgia area, in them rivers, near the Emasi tribe, or the Emasi kingdoms, were known to be located. See what I'm saying? all the way down to all the way over to Pensacola, all the way down over here to St. Augustina, where, you know, Hernando de Santo went to, and all the other Spain colonists tried to colonize, which they did later on via our treaties and our permission. That's what we forget. It's all the art of war, I guess. You know, we are family-based people, so it only but so much we want to do or allow before we, you know what I'm saying, allow to try to do peace. But that's for anybody else. So don't let that make you scared or nobody. Only fear God. We're just intelligent people. My father always got this story too while I'm flipping through these photos about how my grandma, which was had a lack of resources at the time because of what was going on, the deprivation and the stuff that our people was going through in the 1900s. You know, the U.S. was going broke in 1933, which they did. This is why the Federal Reserve Act came out. Anyway, my grandma her intuition, I guess, kicked in. I never got the answer to this day. She passed away. This is on my father's side, my paternal side. She ate red clay, which I had to look up. My father don't like talking about the story. You know, they emotional and have trauma too. This is why our people are going through things that we have to be aware of. From now, we just understanding mental health. This is good. We need to be aware of epigenetics. So now we start connecting these dots. We see how we've been deprived, how we've been suppressed, assaulted, how we've been violated. These are things that we could be getting repaired for, since we talk about reparations. Which, by the way, if you get what I'm saying, this is why I say we need a level of discernment. Because I shouldn't have to say it straight up, but you should get that our reparations or repairing would not become available to us as a whole, because if you do your research, as we was doing earlier, we had our own slaves, you know what I'm saying, masters that look like me and you. Because again, as I'm showing you the story, we help these people. Any foreigners is when I say these people, not to sound like I'm alienating people to such a derogatory sense, but as in far as knowing who's who is my point. And we help foreigners from whether it's Spain, France, or anybody else gain their prominence on our land because of different fractures and diverse discrepancies that we was going through. That's a good choice of words to generalize it. So again, as you read certain books, you'll see what was going on. You know what I mean? And we're going to have certain books out there. I even wrote some down earlier, like I said. Go get the book. It's in editing mode. It's dropping. Got children's books dropping. And again, our people are going to be back on their renaissance. We're going to come from our dark ages and watch us rise. Watch us catch on to that Jesus vibe. It's here, you know? But right now, you can go check out books like Black Masters, A Free Family of Color in the South, in the Old South, by James Roark, R-O-A-R-K is how you spell Roark, and Michael P. Johnson, which speaks on a wealthy autochthon American / Negro slave master named Ellison, whom was richer than most overall majority of the Caucasian slave masters in North Carolina. Check him out. You know, he got a lot of facts in there. And this is facts according to the United States Census, via, again, how I even did my genealogy, not by blood test, by their census. Because of the Freedom of Information Act, they have everything out. See what I'm saying? Everything was documented. This is why I'm trying to figure out why wasn't the slaves, who was commodity, which was legal at the time, not documented. Okay, anyway. You can check out another book, you know, by Larry Koger. Koger is spelled K-O-G-E-R. It's called Black Slave Owners. See what I'm saying? You can go to another book by Calvin D. Wilson called Negroes Who Own Slaves. It's a lot of things we have, you know. And this is why knowledge has to be dispersed, and there's no more, you know, one-time leader that they can just off, you know. And now the movement stops because the movement is forever, really. But it's not to be recorded. It's the point why we say televised. They can't see how it's recorded. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go down. It's gonna be stable sometimes. It's gonna go up. It's gonna be what it is. But the game is it never stop. That's why let's clap it up. You know what we clapping it up for? Clapping it up for all the brave ones, from all the fallen ones, from on our fam side to our ancestors to their ancestors. Because if you really understand the story, which is about resources, they did what they seemed like they had to do at the time. And my point is, we're at a new day and a new time, and the game is about accountability, responsibility, and integrity. So let's see what we can do now and how if we can move forward. And and let's embrace the genius and all the tactics and the strategic movements and opportunities that these opportunities took advantage of, because if we study it and see the light in it, you know, the light that we can see in it, we understand society more better and how to set our boundaries. You get what I mean? It's beauty in that. You see? Because it upgrades our system, our know-how, our due power. You know what I mean? Say the right words. But yeah, man. Again, I ain't gonna go too long. I'm learning to keep some of my videos shorter so people can catch up to what's going on, you know. I'm at be editing my YouTube and make a compilation of videos, or I might just do it myself and make a compilation of videos or subjects that I talked in old videos, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So give y'all actual pictures, you know what I'm saying? Go run up my YouTube, not just for views or clout or none of that, because again, I'm not even on the monetary side of YouTube yet, but when I do, you know my money is going to the real actuality and the real investment of our people's best interests, from farmland, you know what I'm saying? Land period, which I can build school and our science lab on, and our science lab can back all our inventions. You get what I mean? But hopefully somebody steal that idea too. That's good. If people don't say still, don't steal it. Let's manifest it. Can't stop it. Let somebody else steal it. Everybody buying land. Let's do that for our people. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a compilation of those videos. You know, we want, you know, talk economics, capitalism, a lot of stuff that I talked in the past. We're going to talk about the 12 salts and minerals. We're going to talk about health, because we got to be mineralized and think right. We got to be aware of our state of mind and our vessel and our body, because our body is actually the blueprint to everything, to all the inventions, to the universe, which is the universe is the law to all, to the nature, to the natural law, to nature, down to the man's law, which is again under and inferior to nature law, just like nature law is inferior to the universal law. See what I'm saying? It's an apex order to this. Get? So that's what we want to do. And love y'all, fam. You know what I'm saying? I really do this for y'all. This is the reason why I can retain this information. This is the reason why I'm on this all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like these other people that's going to scam people. Again, I'm not monetized yet. I don't even ask for donations. I want y'all to see the real genuinity, the sincerity in me, the serenity that I'm on, and I don't, you know, like I said, and is have a level of discernment, because I know there's so much going on. I even show y'all that there's agents out there. I show y'all there's so much propaganda and distractions. But that level of discernment is going to let you see the absolute, because that's God. And if you can't see it in me, I don't know what to say. But keep pushing, because I know you're going to see it. I know for sure, like, it ain't nothing else for me to do but keep pushing, because it's only one absolute, and that's getting back to our nationality, living righteous, getting back to the land, practicing generational wealth, getting back to our bloodline, like the Bible was talking about. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it because I'm Christian or nothing. I'm talking about this is just how it's just simplistic it should be, because this is the fundamentals since day one. And when you violate or breach the fundamentals, or you break the foundation, the house collapse. So let's clean our temples. Shalom, assalamu alaikum. Peace, peace. Love.